let's get started. We're gonna make this glove. I haven't finished it. I still need to knit around here with my circular knitting or my crochet. I'm debating on that. So far I've made this one. Ooh, I'm so excited. I've done this one, and I can't remember what I did with the other one, but that's okay. We won't worry about that. So here is the pattern for this. Actually, let me show you. This was a mistake and this was a mistake. The correct way is this way, and you can see it. I've got it correct up here and right here. But even though I made a mistake here and here, it still came out cute. And this is Anna Haferman's design. But like I said, I made a glove, and I just need to either crochet or knit. Either way, it's going to come out beautiful. But this is the pattern we're going to work on. So let's get a... So trace this. I've just found out that my computer does reverse this pattern. So your Russell levels are up here. On the left hand side, you want it on the triangle and the numeral 1. On the right side, I said left side, right? Left side triangle number 1. Right side number 2, but with the dot. So this is the row counter side, and this is how many needles we're going to use. I'm going to have blue as my primary A color, and this yellowish green is the color of this. It's a little yellowish green, and the needles correspond with the color of your threads. So let's see, I put primary, and then don't forget, every time you go on the left hand side, when you knit, we start on the right. When you knit, you always change to the contrasting color. Then you knit back, and then you start following the chart. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to place that chart right there. It's really small, I know, but I don't have a printer. My printer ran out of ink, and my printer ink, I don't know why it's so expensive. It just doesn't make any sense. And you know I've done this one, the little sheep, so I'm going to keep that one as well. This can also be a wrist warmer. So that's what I'm going to sew together during this when I finish. So let's get our needle beetle, because I said we're going to be using the pulling out needles. The fastest way is with the needle beetle. So let me put my pattern down and get the yarn. It's in my container, and we're going to bring out the contrasting color. I mean, this is the primary color, and this is the contrasting color. This yellow, it's almost like a yellowish, really bright green. And then I labeled my containers primary color A. And we're going to, place our yarn up the mass. I'm going to knit some rows, cast on, knit some rows, and then we'll start. And of course I get everything all caught up, so I'm just threading up the mask through the mask eyelet, over the tension guide, and over the other eyelet. I call it an eyelet. I'm sure they call it something else. Okay, so we've got our yarn set. So I'm going to do a simple cast on. Put my roll counter at 0, making sure that my carriage is on the right hand side, and I'll be back. Oh, for this small sample, I forgot to let you know. We're going to be pulling out 40 needles, but we're going to do the cast on first. So that's 10, 20, 30, 40. We don't need all these. And then I'm going to do the cast on. And I'm going to bring out the last needle, even though it's not every other needle. And I think I need to take this off because I just noticed it's getting caught with the, as much as I want to wear it because it's so nice and warm. And loosen up the tension above the mask so it'll be easier for me to. Okay. Kitty loves to watch TV, I'm telling you. If I turn it off, she'll start crying. So that's why the TV's on. Okay, let's thread the mask. We have it on regular stockinette stitch. Let's get a clamp at the end and knit 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's get our okay. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, my tension for this yarn is very, very tight. Yes, I forgot the mask. So let's put our tension. We don't want it real tight. Okay, and then this is the sample. When I sew this up, I left the opening, and then don't forget to put your markers on there if you like. Okay, so now we're going to bring all the needles into B position, and we're ready to follow the chart. So Russell levels on the left, triangle, and number 1. Russell levels on the right, keep it at 2, and we're going to place it at the dot. Okay, so let me get everything out of the way. Bring out my... Okay, so you can see really good. I just put some lotion on my hands because I have really dry skin. Okay, so bring your row counter to 0, and we have our blue thread. So our blue thread is already here. So we're going to skip 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to bring out needle number 4. And I also follow Anna Hifferman advice. You want to get your erasable marker and number your needles 1 through 8. Okay? That makes it a lot easier for you. So Russell levels are where they should be. Everything looks good. Your needle beetle. Oh, I almost dropped it. Go across. I think we need a couple of weights. It just feels like we need one right here. Oh, oh, it should be on C. I apologize. Okay. That makes a big difference. Okay, so we are ready to knit. Fair eye. Okay, we've got the first ones done. The back knitted, and then we've got our little floats. So when your carriage is on the left, we need to remove our yarn and place it in the yarn holder. Bring out our color B or contrast B. Place a clip to hold that. And we're going to knit across. We've got larger floats now. And you notice that the needles are all back in the B position. So our row counters are 2. Our row counter is at 2. So we already have the yellow into the carriage. So we're going to be picking out 1, 2, 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 6, 7, and 8. We're going to bring our needle beetle out with the grooves into the channels of your flatbed and the track in the back, and bring our needles across. When you see the needles and have nothing up here like the other on B, we need to bring these up in the C position so they can catch at the end. Otherwise you're going to have big old floppy loops. So let's knit across, and you notice they were knitted at each end. Remember, our carriage is to the left. We're going to remove our yarn, place it in the yarn holder, bring out the primary A, place it in the carriage. I believe I better pull some of this, it's too loose, and knit across. Okay, so our row counter is at 4. And we already have the blue, so we skipped those blues, and now we're going to pick out the color, the needles 3, 4, and 5. So I have my counter marked on the flatbed, 3, 4, and 5. Bring out the needle beetle, place it over the track, zip your needle beetle across. Since there's already 2 needles at the end in the B position, we don't have to move any needles. So let's knit across. Okay, so we need to remove our yarn to create the other pattern. Bring our yarn out and place it in the yarn holder. Bring our yarn that's been holding, and make sure we don't have any slack, and we're going to knit back. Okay, our row counter says 6. Our chart, we're at the 6. We are already knitted the blue, so we're going to skip that one, and we're going to go to, we've got our yarn is opposite. So we have the blue, we pull out the needles 1, 7, and 8. 1, 7, and 8. And we're going to get our needle beetle, bring the needles out. We've got 2 needles at the end. We need to put those in the C position, and we're going to knit across. Remove our yarn. Now we have our blue yarn, or our primary A yarn, and now we're going to knit that color. And there it is. We're at row 8. Row 8, we already have blue. So we're picking out the opposite color, and we're going to bring out the needles 2, 3, 5, and 6. So 2, 3. Oh, I'm sorry. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I apologize. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm glad I double checked. Okay, yep. Opposite color. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm glad I double checked because I was just about to just go across. Place your needle beetle. There's no need to worry about the ends because these are already going to be knitted, and then we'll create some large floats. Knit across, remove our yarn that was in the left position, place your yarn in the yarn holder, bring out your contrasting color, pull any slack, and we're going to knit back. We are at row 10. We're going to use the opposite chart for the color. We already have the contrasting color, so we're going to bring out needles 3, 4, and 5. 3, 4, and 5. Bring out our needle beetle. Zip across. We don't have to worry about any yarns not catching or knitting because they're already in the knitting position. So knit across. Remove your contrasting color, place it in your yarn holder, bring the other primary color in, pull any slack, and then knit across. And we can see the pattern. It is looking beautifully. So, pardon me. We are at row 12. We are going to use the opposite in this color. So we're going to pick out the the needle 2. We're at 10, right? Oh, 12, I'm sorry. 2, 7, and 8. 2, 7, and 8. Okay, 2, 7, and 8. Needle beetle. We have 2 needles in position B. We want those in C. And we're going to knit across. Remove our yarn because it's at the left hand side. Place it in the yarn holder. Bring out our contrasting color. Put in the slack. And knit that. Okay. Now we are at row 14, which is the last row, and we have the opposite color, and we're going to bring out needles 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Needle beetle. Oops, I don't know how I did that. Let's put those back. We definitely need a new sponge board because that is why that is happening. The needles are too loose. So I'm going to double check to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Skip. 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 Okay, so this one is in the D position. We want that needle in the C position. Knit across. Remove your contrasting color. Place it in the yarn holder. Bring your primary color. Pull in that slack. And knit across. And we have completed. Let me place these in the normal position. Remove everything. We're back at stockinette. I'm going to knit 6 rows. Place my row counter back at 0. I'm gonna remove my casting comb so I can show you I did this correct. See, the second time around it's just good. Looks beautiful. I love the way it starts out here. It almost looks like a little ribbon. It's going in and out, weaved in and out. And I'm so happy that it came out good. Because the first one I did, it didn't come out good. It was right here. I have some other colors, but it looks nice. It looks nice. So we are finished. Now we're ready to create all over again. So we're going to put our levers on the dot. Leave this one in 2. On the left hand side, we're going to place it in the 1 and leave it the triangle there. So we're going to start all over again, bringing out, because we have the blue already, we're going to skip those 3 and bring out 4. Okay, needle beetle. We don't have to worry about these getting caught or having loops because they're already going to be knitted at the end. So knit across, remove your yarn, place it in the yarn holder. I'm using the clamp thing at the bottom for the yarn holder. It works so much better for me. Okay, pull your slack in and knit across. Okay. Now we're at row 2 and we're going to look at our chart. Row 2, we already have our yellow in, so we're going to pick 1 and 2. Skip 3, 4, 5 and go to 6, 7, 8. Okay. Pick up your, get your needle beetle, pull that across, straighten up on that. I think I need my weights because I removed the casting comb. Let me put this up here, making sure I don't catch the thread in the hold position. And I don't have any weights over there. Let me get these. Again, I'm moving over the yarn so I don't catch it with the weights. Okay. Remember, there's 2 of these that are in the D position. We want those to loop up and knit. So we're going to bring those. Now let's knit across. And they caught them. That looks beautiful. We have to finish knitting the blue color. Bring in your yarn. Okay. Pull in any slack. You don't want that. You want it nice and pretty. And then cross. Okay. We've completed that row. Pull that down. We're at row 4. Row 4, we already have our blue, so we're going to skip 1 and 2, and we're going to pull out needles 3, 4, and 5. 3, 4, and 5. Always double check. We're at row 4, 3, 4, and 5. Needle beetle. Back. We don't have to worry about any needles that are sticking out in the end because they're going to get wrapped around those and knitted. So, knit across, bring out your yarn, place it in wherever you feel comfortable with your yarn holder. Bring my yarn out, pull my tension, and then knit across. Okay, I'm going to pull those down. My weight. Bring up my weight, move that out the way. And now we're at row 6. Row 6, we are going to pull out needles 1, 6, and 7. 1, 6, and 7. Needle beetle. And pull them across. Bring in your last needle. I'm going to double check that 6. You pick the opposite. That's 1, 7, and 8. Yep, 1, 7, and 8. So knit across. Pull out your yarn. Place it in your yarn holder. Bring out your yarn in the slack. And then all we have to do is knit across. Okay, that is looking so pretty. I'm going to bring up my weights. Bring up my weights. Bring up the weights. I'm contemplating, I've been searching for the book and for doing things like this. So our row counter is at 8. Looking at 8. We already have the blue, so we're just going to skip that and we're going to bring out the needle 2, 3, skip, 5, and 6. 5 and 6. Okay, needle beetle. Oh, I made a boo-boo. I made a boo-boo. I made a boo-boo, boo-boo, boo-boo. Let's double check. We're at row 8, right? Okay, I picked out 1, so that is incorrect. That is incorrect. Let's put all our needles back. It is better to just start from the beginning. Otherwise, I get more confused. And I don't want to confuse you. Especially if this is all new to you. When it was new to me, I was totally confused. Okay, we're at row 8. I don't know what made me look down. We already have blue. We're bringing out 2, 3, skip 4, 5, and 6. Whew. Okay. And now it looks good. I just caught that when I said, wait a minute, that didn't look right. So now we're going to knit across. Remove our yarn. Place it in the row count, knit in the yarn holder. Pull the tension. And now we're going to knit across. Okay, we are at row 10. And let's look at our chart. We already have the yellow, so we skip those and we're at 3, 4, and 5. 3, 4, 5, and 8. 3, 4, 5, and 8. So let's double check. Row 10. 3, 4, 5, and 8. 3, 4, 5, and 8. Okay, we have one needle that needs to be placed in the C position, otherwise we will have a huge loop. Knit across. Remove your contrasting color, place it in the yarn holder position. Let's bring in tension and knit across. Okay, we are at row 12. Bring up your weights. We need something to hold that down. And we'll look at our chart. We already have the blue, so we need to pick the opposite color. And we're going to bring out needle 1, skip 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're going to bring out needles 7 and 8. Bring your needle. We have one needle and the other needle need to go into the C position. Just one moment. Okay, so we're on the last row. So exciting. Let me put everything back. We're creating it all over again. because I did the 6 rows, I had to do stockinette stitch. So make sure you put your levers back into the right, number 2, and the dot, and the left on the number 1 and the triangle. So we're going to repeat what we started to finish off the row. We already have blue, so we skip 1, 2, and 3 and bring out 4. 1, 2, and 3 and bring 1, 2, and 3 and bring out 4. Needle beetle. Needle cross. When our yarn is at the left, we need to remove it. Place it in the yarn holder. Bring out your contrast color. Pull on the mask so we can have no tension gathering that. Knit across. Our row counter is at 2. We're going to look at our chart. We have the yellow, and we're going to use the opposite from the yellow to the blue, and we're going to pick out needle 1, 2, skip 3, 4, and 5 because that's this. That's what's going to get knitted, and then we're going to pick out 6, 7, and 8. Those are going to float. We have 2 needles at the end that go in the C position so they can be knitted at the end. Knit across, remove your contrasting color, bring in your primary color, pull out any slack, still get a nice good tension, knit across. We're at 4. I'm going to bring up my needles. I'm going to bring up my weights. We're at the last row. Okay. I mean, we're not at the last row. I'm going to do the 4th row. Okay. So we have blue. We skip those and we bring out 3, 4, and 5. 3, 4, and 5. And needle beetle. We don't have to worry about placing any of these needles in the C position because these are already at the B position. So knit across. Now we remove our primary yarn and bring in our contrasting yarn. And we're going to knit that across. And we're at row 6. Row 6, we are going to use we already have the lime green in there, so we're going to pick out the contrasting, the primary colors, which would be 1, skip 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and pull out 7 and 8. Needle beetle. We have to push these 2 into the C position, so I knit across. Remove our contrasting color. Bring in our primary color. Pull any slack. And knit across. We are at row 8. Bring up my weights, especially at the end. Definitely want some weight there. Okay, so we're at row 8. We have blue, so we skip that blue, and it's 2 and 3. 2 and 3. Skip 4, 5 and 6. Skip 7 and 8. So we should only have needles 2, 3, 5, and 6. Okay, needle beetle. Nothing to worry about the ends because those are going to knit. Remove your primary, place it in the yarn holder, bring out your contrast, pull out that slack, knit across. We are at row 10. Row 10, We already have yellow, so we skip 1 and 2, and it's 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. And skip 6, 7, and pull out number 8. Needle beetle. Bring in that one needle because it is not going to get knitted, so we want that to get knitted. Pull out your contrasting. It's on the left hand side. When your carriage is on the left hand side, that's a good sign that you transfer your thread that was in the hold position or the yarn holder and knit across. We're at row 12. Row 12, we have our we have our primary. The contrasting color is over there, so we're going to bring out needle 1, skip 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 and 8 are going to be pulled out. Knit across. We have 2 of these that need to be knitted, so we're going to place those in the C position at the end. The end needles, I always place them in the C position. That way you have a nice, neat edge, knit edge at the bottom, at the sides. And knit across. We're at the last row. We have the light green, so we're going to use our contrasting color. Those needles are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm sorry. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Needle beetle. And that seems to pull them all. Just push everything back. Put those needles back into the B position. We have that one needle on the end that needs to go in the C position. Knit across. Remove your contrasting yarn. Place it in the yarn holder. Bring in your primary. Pull in the slack. We finished. We're going to place our levers in the stockinette stitch and stitch 6 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now we are ready to cast off. We finished the whole one. That's the same size. Okay. And then I need to get my markers, and that's what I don't know what I do with it. So we need to cut this yarn anyway, so let's get our scissors. Where do I place them? Okay. Put it in the tension holder. Remove this. Okay. And now I'm gonna get my needle, wrap it around the back of the latch and then over, and transfer that behind the latch and around the front. Remove that. Transfer it over. We're casting off. I think once you understand the fair isle, you're going to want to constantly do fair isle. You can, I'm sure you're going to, a lot of you already know that, but those of you who are like me, it took me over 3.5 years just to get the understanding. I've watched the same video over and over again, and I was totally confused. I don't know why, but that's just the way my brain was functioning. Okay. So all our brains are a little different. Okay, let's see. I have to pull that out manually because it didn't want to come out. Okay. Transfer it over, move your needles out the way. Sometimes the thread gets caught because they are fibers. They're bound to get caught. And I also need a sponge bar. That's basically what's going on behind the latch and in front of it. And zip it across. This is going to make a nice pair that you see I already have. This is just needs to be sewn up. Down. After all that, drop a stitch. And you notice I don't have any weights, and that's probably why it's a little more difficult to pull through. But still, I know I need a sponge bar, a brand new one. And how many minutes is that? 42. And we're at the last one that comes out. Before you do anything, make sure you stretch it like the book tells you to do. Look at that. This one came out just exactly the way Anna Hefferman did it. But you have to remember, the first one I did, I have made a mistake on the second and then on the last row. But this one came out just right. And this is going to be, again, a hand for my hand, because I have a really bad rheumatoid arthritis and I am exhausted. So I have enough to sew a mattress stitch all the way down, and then I'm going to place, well, first I'm going to take this yarn, get my latch hook, and go through the back, bring that behind the latch, through the latch, pull it through. I need to turn it this way, I'm going the wrong way. And you remove it and go like this. So it's behind the latch, and I'm going to take a loop. I already entered it in that one. I'm going to put both of these loops. Take both of these loops and put it behind the latch. Pick up the loose yarn and place that through both of them. And I have the loop. I'm going to find another one. The other loop. Come on, loopy. Does you want to come out? Okay, come on, loopy. Okay, into the loop. Go, both of them go behind the latch. Loop that. Let me get this yarn out the way because that's the one I'm going to sew the mattress stitch. So I've got both loops. I'm going to wrap that one and bring that all the way through. Pull it a little bit. Go through the next loop. Make sure they're both behind the latch. Bring in the yarn that I'm holding. And this is going to hide this particular yarn. Both of them behind the latch. Bring in that yarn. Bring it through. Give it a tug. Bring it through. They go both behind the latch. Bring it through. Pull that loop behind the latch. Pick up that stitch. It almost looks like a chain stitch. Place it behind the latch. Bring that both through those two loops. Pick up the next loop. It's really tight because remember I made sure that was tight. Put it through. They both go behind the loop. Bring in that yarn. Bring it through. Pull it. Give yourself enough slack. And then put those behind. Oops, I picked up 3 loops. I don't want that. I just want to pick up the one. Oops, I did it twice. There. Those 2 go behind the latch. Bring in that. Now you can go all the way down if you want. I don't want to. I think I did enough. I'm going to bring that loop in. Tighten it up really tight. Find my... Where is my needle? There it is. Now I'm going to take my yarn, that really long one that I was just doing that with, insert it in my tatting needle, and then I'm just going to kind of bring it in and kind of wiggle it through. I'm at the very end of those, and then I'm just going to bring it like that. You can't see it. I'm going to cut that, and that's hidden in there. I've got these 2. I'm going to do the same thing to do that. I'm going to latch it up a little bit, and then I'm going to sew it through a little bit. So now I'm going to do this one, but I should have kept that yarn. Don't throw away yarn that you could use for markers. These are going to be markers. So, get this out the way. Let's move those. What did I do with the markers? Okay. My mock ribbing is here, and all I have to do is put a marker on those 2, because this is exactly the same size. So here's my mock ribbing. I'm going to take my latch tool again. That's for my thumb, is going to the bottom of my thumb. Insert that, bring that through, and bring that through. And I got a marker, and that's for my thumb, is going to the bottom of my thumb. Now I'm going to follow that same one, and that was way at the top. Oops. Thought mine. Okay, I lost it. Now I can bring my thread over. Okay, where was I at? Okay, I got my marker there. Gonna look at where my other marker was at. Let me get my latch toolkit. My latch. Okay, that one was way up here. So bring in that in the loop behind your latch. Bring in your marker, fold it in half. Bring that through. We have it like that. Pick up both of those yarns and bring it through. Now I have a marker. So what I'm going to sew this side up at the top with the mattress stitch. Then I'm going to latch it and a couple of good times and make a knot, and then I'm going to go start at this end, do the mattress stitch, and I will have a nice pair of mittens. But I am going to get my circular knitting needles or my crochet hook and make a little thumb. I could have probably did that on the, I could have did that on the knitting machine, but it didn't dawn on me till it was too late. And I said, well, I might as well do this one like that one, so that way they have their matching sets. So insert your needle at the other side, go through again, lock that in place. Now you want to find your two loops. They're right there, and pull your yarn through. Go on the other side, find those loop, pull them two, and you've got your mattress stitch. Go back two, let's see, that's comes out here, so it's two here. Go through the other two. Go and create your mattress stitch. Just two loops. Lock that into place. I like to tug it so it looks seamless. And then I'm going to keep going back and forth into my mattress stitch. Pick up the two loops, or the ladder, I don't know what they call that, but it's a right in between here. If I was to open up, it's so tight. I have two of those. They look like a little ladder. I'm getting another call. Hold on. I'm gonna answer that this time. Call them back. Okay, everybody, I'll show you later.